Today, the world watched in stunned silence as Russian President Vladimir Putin once again raised the nuclear stakes in the ongoing Ukraine war. This was not just another warning or symbolic threat. The tone was darker, sharper, and far more alarming. Within hours, the United States responded, not with diplomacy, but with power, approving a massive $2.3 billion military aid package for Ukraine. The speed of this response sent a clear message. The conflict has entered a far more dangerous phase, and the margin for error is shrinking fast. In short, Putin's nuclear signaling has the potential to dramatically reshape the battlefield and global security. At the same time, Washington's rapid military response could push the war into deeper escalation. What we are witnessing is not merely a clash between two nations, but a high-stakes confrontation between nuclear powers, where every move carries consequences far beyond Ukraine. And the most unsettling part is this: what happens next may decide the future of Europe's security. Here are the key facts that define this critical moment. Russian President Vladimir Putin escalated his nuclear rhetoric, warning that Russia's sovereignty and survival were under threat. Almost immediately after, the United States announced $2.3 billion in fresh military aid to Ukraine. This unfolded within the same day, separated by only a few hours. The developments span Ukraine, Russia, and NATO's eastern borders. Moscow argues that Western weapons are enabling attacks on Russian territory, while Washington insists Ukraine has the right to defend itself. The result is a rapidly intensifying standoff, with millions of lives indirectly hanging in the balance. To understand why this matters so much, we need to look at the background. The Ukraine war began in 2022 as a regional invasion, but it has steadily transformed into a broader geopolitical struggle between Russia and the West. Over time, the United States and its allies supplied Ukraine with increasingly advanced weapons systems, from air defenses to long-range missiles. Each delivery was followed by warnings from Moscow, claiming NATO was crossing red lines. As tensions escalated, Russia revised its nuclear doctrine, signaling a lower threshold for potential nuclear use if its territory or strategic stability were threatened. Recent Ukrainian strikes deeper into Russian-controlled or Russian-adjacent areas appear to have triggered renewed alarm inside the Kremlin. From Moscow's perspective, Western-backed military pressure is no longer limited to Ukraine's borders. As a result, nuclear rhetoric has returned to the center of Russia's strategic messaging. This is precisely why the latest US aid package is so significant. It shows that Washington is prepared to respond swiftly, even in the face of nuclear intimidation. The implications of these developments are profound. In the immediate term, Ukraine stands to gain stronger air defense systems, advanced artillery, and expanded long-range capabilities. This could help protect major cities and slow Russian advances. However, from Russia's viewpoint, this aid may be interpreted as direct Western escalation. Analysts warn that such perceptions could lead Moscow to intensify missile attacks, widen the conflict zone, or further lean on nuclear threats as a tool of psychological warfare. The most dangerous risk lies in miscalculation. What if a strike is misunderstood? What if a single incident is seen as crossing a red line? Best-case scenarios suggest that diplomatic pressure and back-channel talks could cool tensions and stabilize the situation. Worst-case scenarios, however, involve a rapid chain reaction, one decision triggering another, with consequences that could ripple across continents. The stakes have rarely been this high, and history shows how quickly events can spiral out of control. Reactions to the escalation have been intense and deeply divided. Some Western security experts argue that nuclear threats are designed to intimidate rather than signal actual intent. Others strongly disagree, warning that repeated nuclear messaging normalizes the unthinkable and increases long-term risk. Public reaction mirrors this divide. Across Europe, fear and uncertainty are growing. In the United States, debates continue over how far support for Ukraine should go. Meanwhile, Russian state media portrays the aid package as undeniable proof of Western aggression against Moscow. To sum it up, Putin has raised the nuclear stakes, and the United States has responded with overwhelming military support for Ukraine. This is not the end of the story. It may only be the beginning of a far more dangerous chapter. The coming days and weeks will reveal whether this escalation leads to deterrence or disaster. One thing is certain: the world is watching closely. What do you think will happen next? Share your thoughts and stay subscribed for continuous updates on one of the most critical geopolitical showdowns of our time.